Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis is ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good evening. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that, okay, loves? It is always a blessing. Hopefully you guys are all doing well out there. I am still fighting a little bit of this cold, but I'm at the tail end of it. You know, I'm fighting it. But I got some much needed, well, not all the way needed, but some needed rest. So I'm happy about that for sure. But nonetheless, we're coming out of that sickness hole, even while we're reporting all this stuff, because there's all kinds of stuff going on, y'all. All kinds of information that's popping off, all kinds of things that we need to talk about. There's a lot going on. Yeah, I mean, I feel a lot better. It's just my voice. My voice is not all the way there. And you know how it is, you know, I make a living talking for a living, using my voice for a living. So it sucks when it feels like you're being held back, you know, when you can't talk. It's just a feeling, you know, it just sucks, you know, it feels like kryptonite in a way, you know what I mean? But anyway, we got a lot to talk about. There's a lot of things that are going on, and we got a very short amount of time to do it, because honestly, I want to try to get some decent rest tonight, so tomorrow I can come at you guys with more and more information, come out the gate with all the coverage and all that's going on. So we're going to be blazing through this information. Well, we're not going to be blazing through, but like I said, this isn't going to be like a 3-hour show, okay? So get ready, get in here, and do your thing. So do me a favor, hit that like button down below, crush the do it to do, hit that reaction button, please, and thank you. Make sure you do that. And if you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, make sure you hit that follow button. Follow. Also subscribe here on my main channel, right here on my YouTube channel. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Go over to my third channel, Pascal Raw. Subscribe to all those channels. Hit that notification bell, set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload. That'd be greatly appreciated. Okay? Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. All right? We got some things we got to get into. We got a lot to talk about. Trump. Okay? Trump finally signs the bill to release the Epstein files. Okay? Let's see what else. Candace Owens calls the head of Charlie Kirk's security literally a liar during a very, very interesting interview on Sean Ryan's podcast. And of course, we still have to talk about Ashley Buzzard, or the mother of Melodee Buzzard. She has some charges that got dropped, but then she also got caught cutting out Melodee's face out of missing posters. So we got a lot to talk about and then some today on this show. So make sure you get yourself in here, get cozy. We got some things to get into. Okay, guys? So hopefully you guys are all doing well. Again, I appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out with me tonight, okay? Because you could be spending your Thursday night any other way, but you're spending it with me, so I do appreciate it. And like I said, it's going to be a smattering of different things today, because honestly, there are cases that there are situations and stories I've not talked to you guys about, some cases that we haven't gotten a chance to kind of like cover, okay? But then there's a lot of other things that we still have to talk about that are still updates that are still going on. Now, I know you may have been one that's been feeling sick like myself, okay? Yesterday, I didn't get a chance to really cover this piece and talk about it. So it is kind of old news by now, but at the same time, I think it's still interesting and good news nonetheless. Trump finally signs the doggone bill to release the Epstein mother-loving files. Okay? Finally. Now, what's interesting about this is that Trump, okay, two different things that are going on with Trump right now. Okay. One, we already know he was like, fine, do it. Just release the files. Vote to release the files. Let's be done with it. God. And then there's another part where he's actually saying, yeah, I've been told you guys I wanted this stuff released. It's about time this stuff has been released. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. You know what I mean? It's like the guy who always says, he's always right. Even when he's absolutely wrong, he's still right. He's like, yeah, so that is what I said. That's what I said the entire time. I don't know what you're talking about. We're going to see that because he did a Truth Social post, okay, which is interesting, okay? Very, very interesting. And we're going to be looking at that here very shortly. But what I think is very wild about this is that, okay, he has been fighting this for months, okay? Man, he's been fighting this for damn near 10 months, y'all. Okay? He's been trying everything he can to not have these Epstein files come out. And then finally, House, Senate, okay, twist his arm. They're twisting his arm to finally do it. Because here's the thing. If he was to not do it, if he was to like veto the bill, it will go right back down to the House, and then they can overturn his veto. You realize that, right? So then he would have even more people against him, right? At the end of the day, not a good look for him, okay? It already is not a good look for him, but let me just say this. There are going to be people going out of their way to make it seem like he is a hero or that he has done something that he has done no wrong. That he's just this perfect guy, that he hasn't done anything wrong. Honestly, he's done a lot. He did everything he could, everything in his being to stop this from being exposed. Why? Now, I lean on two different, I'm sitting there on the fence. It's either his name is connected to other criminal activities that are in these files, or he's trying to protect other people that have done bad things that may have hoisted him on their shoulders to get out here and become president. That's what I think. But I also think, yes, I agree. Okay. Ingrid? I don't know how to say that. No offense. But I agree. I think that files will be tampered with. I'll say right now, I really do think that files will definitely be tampered with. I hope that's not the case, but you know for a fact they're going to try to find anything under the sun to try to move as many goalposts as they can so that they don't release all of the files. Or actually, correction, they'll release all of the files, but everything will be heavily redacted. And they'll find every excuse under the sun on why they can't release certain names or certain things. Wait for it. It's coming. The files will be coming out. They'll just be heavily redacted. Just black markings on everything. That's what I truly think. Okay, let me just say this too. I hope I'm wrong. But anything's possible at this point. Yeah, we'll get an edited version. You know, we won't get the director's cut. We'll get the studio cut. And they have 30 days to get that ish on point. So if you really think about it, he probably has a whole bunch of people in one room right now that are not sleeping. They're living off of coffee and Red Bulls. And God knows what else they're probably going off of, staying awake off of as well. But they are all reading through all of this stuff. And yes, I think that they're going to leave all the Democrat-leaning people, all the left-leaning people on there, and all the right-leaning people are going to be eradicated. They'll be redacted. That's what I think. They're in a room right now, going through thousands and thousands of pages of documents right now as we speak. They're probably going in shifts right now as we speak because they got 30 days to get their ish on point. So they got their best readers, okay? Their best readers, the best speed readers, all in one room, and they're combing through that stuff nonstop. And they're just making sure that they're plying those people with coffee and donuts. Keep them fed, keep them hydrated, but keep them caffeinated. And when you get that stuff done, come back to us. That's exactly what's happening right now. It's precisely what's happening right now. So we'll see what happens. But I do think it's very interesting that this is what's going down, right? So he finally signs the bill, all right? So if you guys didn't know, okay, so yesterday he finally signed the bill that compels his administration to release files on Jeffrey Epstein on the EpiPen, the Swamp Thing, okay? Bowing to political pressure from his own party after initially resisting those efforts. Trump could have chosen to release many of the files on his own months ago, which we already know about that. He could have easily said, even just a few days ago, we didn't have to go through all this voting crap. But he was hoping that somebody else would take the fall. He was hoping that either the House representatives were going to sit there and go, nah, we ain't going to do it. Nah. Okay. Republicans on the House rep side would have been like, nah, we're not, nah. We're listening. We are loyal and we have our allegiance to Trump. MAGA for life, right? But that didn't happen. So then he was hoping that maybe it won't get passed through the Senate. Man, did that get passed so fast? Do you realize how fast that was? Schumer walked in, brought in the bill. They voted in and out like that. It was so damn fast. Unanimous. Not one person sitting there going, nah, nope. Unanimous when it comes to the Senate. That's crazy. That's crazy. You want to know what's also crazy to me? Is that, and we just got to look at this reality for a second, okay? Do you realize how many hoops those survivors had to go through just for us to get to where we are today? Think about that for just 1 second. Take a minute and just put that in your pipe and smoke on it just for a second here. All of those victims that have been begging for the files to be released. Do you realize how much crap they had to go through? How many hoops? How many meetings? How many press conferences they had to go through just to finally get to where we are right now? And still there's a good possibility that names might get redacted because of whatever Pam Bondi says they're going to be redacted for. When she said she's going to do it by the law, she said, I'm going to do it by the law. We're going to do it by the law. We're going to do it lawfully. We're going to do it by the law. Let me find that 1 second. Okay. And I don't believe her for 1 second. I don't believe her not 1 second. Where is it? Wait. Yep, right here.
Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney prevent the department from releasing all of the remaining files?
Here we go.
So we have released over 33,000 Epstein documents to the Hill, and we'll continue to follow the law and to have maximum transparency. Also, we will always encourage all victims to come forward.
What are the next steps, Madam Attorney General, for the DOJ regarding what we assume President Trump will sign into law with the Epstein files? Is this going to be on the Justice Department website? What are you doing here over the next 30 days, as we understand it?
We will continue to follow the law with maximum transparency while protecting victims.
Right there. Instantly, this goes off in my mind. I'm sorry, I have to keep it a bean. As soon as I hear her say it like that, because she says, hear me out. You're going to hear her say it multiple times. The way she says it over and over and over again makes me think that she's just lying again and again and again and again. Here's the thing. Why should we even believe this woman? Don't worry, I'll wait. I'm kidding. I'm not going to wait because I can't hear you. But here's the thing. Are we supposed to believe her? Are we though? Do you believe her? First time she says it, I'm like, okay. Okay. But there's more because she keeps going.
Yeah. When you say follow the law, Madam Attorney General, do you mean that you will provide all the files by 30 days?
We will follow the law. The law passed both chambers last evening. It has not yet been signed, but we will continue to follow the law, again, while protecting victims, but also providing maximum transparency.
That's 2 times. Let's see if we believe her. Let's see if it sinks in and it makes us feel a little bit better if she says it a 3rd time in a row.
That. Madam Attorney General, the DOJ statement earlier this year saying that the files would not release mentioned the fact that the review of the documents and the evidence did not suggest that any additional investigation of third parties was warranted. What changed since then that you launched this investigation?
Information that has come for information. There's information that new information, additional information. And again, we will continue to follow the law, to investigate any leads. If there are any victims, we encourage all victims to come forward. And we will continue to provide maximum transparency under the law.
It doesn't matter how many times. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter how many times. And don't worry, I'm going to rewind that one moment because she comes out with more BS. She's pulling BS out her doggone booty hole. Okay? But I think this is very interesting that no matter how many times she says it, no, it still feels like bull schnish. It still feels like bull snot. I don't know about you, but I don't believe anything this woman says. I want to hear what she has, because how she stumbled. You heard how she stumbled. See, we had new information. That's what we had, new info that we have. And so I said we had new information. So we got that new information, like I said. Stop. And you can see even in her face, you can see the panic and the worry in her face. But here's the other thing. They should have been asking, why did you lie to the American people? Why did you lie to the American people? Sweet thing, hi. How you doing? Okay, girl. Okay, girl. Okay, with your burgundy. Okay, go you girl. But what I want to know is, why did you lie to the American people? That's it. Could have asked that question, but did they do that? They didn't ask that. They should have. They should have asked. This is one moment they got them by the mother-loving cojones. They could have squeezed a little bit harder and twisted to the left, but they didn't.
Do you mean that you will provide all the files by 30 days?
We will follow the law. The law passed both chambers last evening. It has not yet been signed, but we will continue to follow the law, again, while protecting victims, but also providing maximum transparency.
Madam Attorney General, the DOJ statement earlier this year saying that the files would not release mentioned the fact that the review of the documents and the evidence did not suggest that any additional investigation of third parties was warranted. What changed since then that you launched this investigation?
Information that has come for information.
Lies.
There's information that new information, additional information. And again, we will continue to follow the law, to investigate any leads. If there are any victims, we encourage all victims to come forward. And we will continue to provide maximum transparency under the law.
Okay, so here's the thing. So yeah, the reporter did basically kind of ask that in a way. He didn't say it as curt and as raw as I asked it, because I would have asked it just like that. Excuse me, why did you lie to the American people? Why did you say that there was nothing to look at and there was nothing to see here when there actually was something to see there? That's basically what he said in that question. He just did it in a very diplomatic and very reporter type of way because he doesn't want to get kicked out of the damn place. But here's the thing. What was her answer? New information. Mother lover, what new information? You've had time. You've had nothing but time to go through thousands and thousands of documents. Where's this new information that you suddenly got? Do you see what I'm saying? Where's this new information that you suddenly received out of nowhere? That's already been in those documents that you say there's nothing to see in those documents. And don't worry about Cash Patel. Cash Patel's too worried about protecting his lover, his country girl lover, okay? I'm country because I wear American flag t-shirts and talk about country things, drinking Busch Light, and I'm female wearing cowboy boots. That's her. He worried about protecting his girl. That's it. And taking her on lavish trips on the government's, on the people's, on the country dime. Yeah, I said it, and it's true. He was caught doing that. And be like, she's a country superstar. Okay. I ain't never heard of her in my whole entire life. I'm not a country fan either, but at the same time, I do know some country artists. Okay? Post Malone. Sorry, he's a country star. He's a country star now too, isn't he? Okay. What's his name? The Jason Aldean. Okay. I played baseball with him one time. I'm real talk. I did. Played baseball with Jason Aldean one time. Didn't know who he was. But I mean, I knew he was a country singer, but I didn't know anything about his music. You see what I'm saying? Okay. But you got your Post Malones, okay, and your Underwoods and your Sheltons. Okay? I'm sure there's a guy out there named Colt Thunder. I don't know, okay? And if there's not a country star named Colt Thunder, there needs to be one, okay? You know, your Garth Brooks, there you go. I know that. Okay. And Florida Georgia line. There you go. I got some. I gotta go deep into the recesses of my brain to grab them, but I do know some country. I don't know his girl's music. I've never heard of her name at all. What's her name again? No disrespect. Yeah. Where is Colt Thunder? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Nobody? Oh, Dolly Parton. Yeah. Dolly Parton, for sure. Okay. But all I'm saying is, Reba? Yeah. Cash, sure. All of them, okay? Long story short, he's got other things he's got to worry about, okay? He's trying to protect his girl. Hey, man, nothing wrong with that. Just don't do it on the government's dime, on the taxpayer dime. That's all I could say about it. But apparently, she allegedly has security detail, FBI, protecting her body now. Yeah. But back over to the main person that we're talking about. Pam Burgundy. Okay? A whale's vagina. She had some things to say here That is absolute BS. Every time she's like, we're going to go by the law and we're going to, that's lies. That's all lies. She already lied before. Remember the footage? Oh, remember the footage where she said, see, what had happened was at 11:59 p.m. before it hits 12 a.m., all cameras shut off at the same time. Ain't that a damn shame? That's what happens. And then it hits the reset. And then they turn back on. But because they're so old, right, Trump? Because these cameras are so old, they have to reset at the stroke of midnight. So they gave us that information too. Look, I'm just trying to remind y'all of the BS that came out of this woman's mouth. It was all lies. It was all lies. Only to find out that security cam footage was totally intact. They just deleted stuff. They removed footage. They removed the footage. I repeat, they removed the footage. And then she tried to lie. No, she didn't try. She lied about that. Straight up. And she ain't in trouble for this? Now she's sitting here saying, well, you see, it's new information. New information has come out. We're going to do everything by the law. And as the law says, we're going to do everything by the law because the law says what we need to do. So we're going to abide by that law because that's what the law says. Next question. Stop. Stop. But this is the BS that's coming out this woman's mouth.
Wedding, Madam General. On Ryan Wedding, you mentioned,
Madam Attorney General, the issue with the new information that you just indicated, is the department seeking information perhaps from the Epstein estate because Mr. Blanche did not have that information when he interviewed Ghislaine Maxwell? What new information? And would you limit the new investigation to just those named persons that the president talked about, or is this a broad, open-ended investigation?
I wonder how she's going to answer this time. Is it going to be different?
I would refer to the Deputy Attorney General's post that he put out on X, and we're not going to say anything else on that because now it is a pending investigation in the Southern District of New York.
You realize that their little white lies, which were not little white lies, but you know what I mean. These little lies, and they're not little, but these big lies that they have had, that they've put out. All that's happening right now is that they're backtracking as much as they can. They're trying as much as they can not to get in trouble. Yeah, she's freaking out, Jessica. She's absolutely nervous because the American people are not dumb. Okay? I mean, some of us are kind of dumb, but we're not all dumb, okay? The collective is not dumb. We all know when we've been lied to. And here's the other thing. We may forgive, but we most for damn sure do not forget. And in this situation, does this turn into a forgiving and forgetting type of situation? I tell you what, no. When you have the government lying to you, your elected officials lying to you straight to your mother-loving face, it's kind of hard to sit there and be willing to stand 10 toes down for that particular person that you elected for in that position. Regardless if they're appointed by Trump or not, or any president for that matter. Like I said, this is a situation where it is bipartisan, but unfortunately, they weaponize this whole thing into a bipartisan situation. Now it's red versus blue, still always. But the general public knows better. We all know that this is a bipartisan situation, that we are all together on this situation, that we all should be asking for the truth and not be lied to as American people. Because here's the thing, as he or Pam Bondi or Kash Patel or Dan Bongino all were on their platforms lying to all of us, they were lying to all of us. They weren't lying to just the Democrats. They weren't lying to us, to those radical, to us, radical lefts or radical rights. They were lying to everyone, to all of us. That's the problem here. That's the mother-loving problem. And as they keep asking more questions, all right, you're going to see them go, boom, and this keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller. But the press and the media is not going to stop. But here's the thing. Trump is going to do everything he can to turn this around to make it seem like, oh, yeah, it's the Democrats. And here's the thing. They got 30 days to sanitize those documents to make it as such. You realize that, right? They got plenty of time to make it seem like it's all the Democrats. That is all dirty Democrats and all the Republicans are clean. They got time. They got time to redact. They got time to doctor. They got time to cover this stuff up as best as they can. And what's crazy is that you have Trump out here now, even after he signed the bill, when he finally said, I signed the bill, all in caps. He says the craziest stuff, basically trying to remind you guys, trying to make it seem like I was the one who told you guys to go and release the bill. I've been saying it this entire time. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I've been saying get rid of, get it out there to the public. Don't worry, we got to take a look at this because this is what he put on Truth Social to announce him actually signing the Epstein Transparency Act. Okay? Let's take a look at this, shall we? Come along. I know it's in small print, so I'm going to read it for you guys here too. All right? So Jeffrey Epstein, who was charged by the Trump Justice Department in 2019, not the Democrats in parentheses, was a lifelong Democrat, donated thousands of dollars to Democrat politicians, and was deeply associated with many well-known Democrat figures, such as Bill Clinton, who traveled on his plane 26 times, Larry Summers, who just resigned from many boards, including Harvard. Yes, that was very interesting. Larry Summers got a lot of explaining to do, and he looks very bad right now, but he's bad, okay? Let's be real, all right? Sleazebag political activist Reid Hoffman, minority leader Hakeem Jeffries, who asked Epstein to donate to his campaign after Epstein was charged, Democrat Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett, and many more. So he's just throwing everybody under the bus. So he'd been known some names, but he's sitting there going, there's no names on here at all. But he knows all the Democrat names now, doesn't he? Like I said, trying to make everybody look bad, except him. Perhaps the truth about these Democrats and their associations with Jeffrey Epstein will soon be revealed, because I have just signed the bill to release the Epstein files in all caps. As everyone knows, I asked the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and Senate Majority Leader John Thune to pass the bill in the House and Senate, respectively. Oh, you realize that that's absolute BS, right? You realize that him saying, oh, yeah, I asked them to do that. That's why it got turned over so quickly. Has everything to do with me and no one else. That is a bold-faced, fat-ass lie. He is lying to the American people again. I'm sorry, guys. When he's winning, when he's doing something right and he's doing something good, I'm going to call him out on that too. I will applaud him. I will stand up and applaud him for doing amazing things. But when you are lying, it doesn't matter if this was Obama, Biden, Clinton, Reagan, I don't give a damn. If you're lying to the American people, I'm going to call your ass out too. He is lying to us. He didn't want any of this to happen. And now he's sitting there going, I asked them to pass it respectively. No, you didn't. You did not. You were fussing. Okay? You were fussing, having temper tantrums on Truth Social, basically saying, I don't understand why you guys want this. It's all a big hoax, blah, blah, blah. What's interesting is that he says it's a Democrat hoax, right? Then as soon as it starts to get released, he goes, oh, it's all the Democrats that are the ones that are going to go down. So if it was the situation, if that was the true situation, why say it's a Democrat hoax? Why say that? Why just say release the files? Go ahead. Let all the Democrats drown in the swamp as it gets drained, right? Why would he suddenly, out of nowhere, say Democrat hoax, when now he's sitting there going, look at all the Democrats. Look at all these bad Democrats. Does that make sense? Because it doesn't. Because you know for a fact, if there was an opportunity to take down a whole slew of Democrats, you know for a fact he'd be frothing at the mouth for that opportunity. But he doesn't take that opportunity. Why didn't he? When he had ample time and an ample opportunity to do so. Do you see what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. It's a Democrat hoax. It's one big lie. And then when it's finally out, he's like, oh, by the way, here are all the Democrats that are dirty. Make it make sense. See, like I said, I may have been born during the day, but I wasn't born yesterday. So miss me with this nonsense. Okay? So the fact that he said, oh, I had them pass the bill through House and Senate. Here's another thing. He didn't have to even do that. He could have just released the files himself without any question. But he didn't do that. He waited for the House to pass and the Senate to pass. And now he's trying to scoop up the ball and run it to the end zone like he's the one who actually scored this touchdown. Unbelievable. Because of this request, continuing on, because of this request, the votes were almost unanimous in favor of passage. At my direction, the DOJ has already turned over close to 50,000 pages of documents to Congress. I'm sorry. Do not forget, the Biden administration did not turn over a single page or file related to Democrat Epstein, nor did they ever even speak about him. Democrats have used the Epstein issue, quote unquote, which affects them far more than the Republican Party, in order to try and distract from our amazing victories. And here we go. He's about to start listing all the things that he's done, including the great, big, beautiful tax cut bill, strong borders, no men and women's sports or transgender for everyone, ending DEI, stopping Biden's record-setting inflation, lowering prices, biggest tax and regulation cuts in history, ending 8 wars, but starting a whole bunch of problems here in America, but okay. Rebuilding our military, knocking out Iran's nuclear capability, getting trillions of dollars invested in the US of A, creating the hottest country anywhere in the world, and even delivering a huge defeat to the Democrats on the recent shutdown disaster. And also going to the wrong country, also having troops go to Mexico by mistake. Moving on. For years, our great nation has had to endure Russia, Ukraine, impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2, and many other Democrat created witch hunts and scams, all of which have been so terrible and divisive for our country and have been done to confuse, deflect, and distract from the great job that Republicans and the Trump administration are doing. The latest hoax will backfire on the Democrats just as all of the rest have. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again, MAGA. Interesting, right? But once again, this is a guy who's going out of his way to be like, yo, look at what I did. And look what I continue to do. I'm doing dope things. What about you? I'm doing dope things. And y'all are busy looking at this Epstein stuff, which is a Democrat problem. But if you want to drain the swamp, then you're going to drain everybody that's blue. So have at it. Have fun. Bye-bye. While I'm busy dropping prices, tax cuts, ending wars in other countries and all that, being the bomb.com up in this biznae. Don't you know I'm Trump? This is what we're seeing right now. I think he's scrubbing the files. I think he's going to the likes of Pam Bondi and basically saying, get rid of it all as quickly as possible. That's what I think. Or maybe take out these names and put in these names. That's a possibility as well. But I digress. We have got to move on to the next conversation. So here it is. Rumors are saying that he is doing that. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I will get to all the super chats at the end of the show. Okay. That's going to be the new kind of format from this point on. But I appreciate all your comments. Don't worry. We're going to be getting into all the conversations here very, very soon. So we got to get into this situation. We got to get into this conversation here, guys. So obviously, this is some very interesting. There's been some very interesting stuff that's been going on with this whole Charlie Kirk situation. All right. Now, Candace Owens has been obviously in the forefront of this whole thing. She has had a crazy amount of theories. Okay. Some are starting to stick. Some did not stick so well, but I'm going to be real. There are some things that have been very questionable. Now, I just did a video earlier today. I recommend you guys go and check it out when you get a chance. But I talked about how they have footage that they have. Okay. Local news asked law enforcement, the ones that actually arrested Tyler Robinson, they asked FOIA. It's Freedom of Information Act. Okay. They did a FOIA request for the body cam footage of Tyler Robinson actually turning himself in. That police department came back and said, oops, we don't have any of that footage. In fact, if we did have that footage, it's already been taped over. It's already been dubbed over. Now, first off, instantly, when I hear that, I hear this. That they suddenly don't have the footage. It's either this. It's missing. They never recorded it at all. Or it was deleted. That's it. Either they misplaced that footage, which would be asinine as all get out, which I highly doubt that they did. They didn't record anything at all. Or it really did get deleted. Now, here's the thing. When you hear something like that, instantly, tinfoil hat starts going. Okay? Tinfoil hat slowly starts getting screwed onto my noggin. I'm going to be real. Because instantly I'm going, wait a second, huh? How do you not have the footage? Why do you not have the footage? That makes no bloody sense, right? Now, we talked about that, and I highly recommend you guys go and check out that full video. Now, Sean Ryan is a podcaster, talk show host. He's got a big, huge YouTube channel here. And he did an interview with the head of security, Brian Harple. Okay. And Brian Harple, we did a whole review of like one segment of his interview. Okay. And we're going to be seeing snippets of that interview here in this video. Now, in the interview, Brian Harple says to Sean, okay, on the show, he's like, yo, we text the security, the head of police for UVU, okay? And we said, hey, we're really concerned about the, about the roofs around us. And then, of course, the guy, the head of security, the head chief of police there said, we got you covered, right? Now, instantly, I got a bunch of things to say about that whole exchange that he had with the chief of police, okay? About this, we got you covered. I got a lot of things to say about that. But here's the thing, too. Candace Owens has a lot to say about this too. And she's calling the head of Charlie Kirk's security a liar. Why? Let's take a look, shall we?
I got to tell you guys, by the time we're done with this list of verifiable turning point lies, it's going to look like a CVS receipt. You know what I mean? It's just getting longer and longer. And these misrepresentations are, of course, lies. So Brian Harpole obviously sat down with Sean Ryan, and he tried to explain how things went wrong and how it wasn't fair and woe is them, millions of dollars that we received. But this is actually the fault of UVU police, right? It's actually the fault of this Chief Long. Now, I had a lead on this for a few weeks from within Turning Point USA. Many people obviously leaking within the organization, but I wanted something a bit more solid. Like they were telling me that they knew for certain that the security did some abnormal things that day. Personally, unless I am certain as it pertains to Turning Point USA, I try not to speak on it. But as it turns out, security people are getting fired or getting moved around at Turning Point, and people's families are getting threatened. And so people in the security apparatus are starting to speak. And now we are certain. So foremost, jog your memory of what he said, what Brian Harpole said to Sean Ryan. He describes a communication that, and he says it in a very odd way. I can tell you right now, the reason why he describes his communication with the chief of the UVU police in an odd way is because it's not his communication. He's actually presenting a text message between Dan Flood and Chief Long. Take a listen to how he says it.
On Monday before, this correspondence went to Chief Long. Hello, Chief Long. We received this message today from the student group. There is a student roof access pretty close to where CK will be set up at the Utah Valley. The Sorensen Center has a couple of staircases that go up to walkways on the roofs. He comes back, and for edification, the Sorensen Center was the building in front of the Lucy Center. And so he comes back and he says, you want access to the roof. And came back and said, I was told students have access above us. If this is true, it would be nice to either have it controlled access or allow one of my guys to be there as well, if possible. He comes back and his last correspondence was, I got you covered. What else am I to do? When a command level person from an accredited police department says, I've got this area. Jeez.
Okay. Yeah.
Ooh, pick me. So I could confirm to you guys that something else that they could have done would have been to at least walk around UVU when they arrived. They didn't. Never did a walkthrough.
Now, here's the thing. First off, I got a lot to say about this, okay? So let's talk about this. And I said this in the video where I was reviewing that clip, that particular moment. Because it's a 3-hour long interview. I would love to do a whole reaction show with you guys, just watching the full interview. If you guys want me to do that, I'll make sure I do that at some point, before the weekend, because it's 3 hours long. Okay. So, with commentary and all that, that would be a long show, or just picking out highlights and talk to you guys about this. But here's the thing. Let me just say this. I said it in the other video too. Now, here's the thing. I'm not one to be like a huge conspiracy theorist. Okay. I got questions. All right. But I'm very practical when it comes to these certain things. Okay. When it comes to this whole Tyler Robinson thing, I really do think they have their guy. Do I think that they have their only guy? I don't think they have their only guy. I think there's more to it. Maybe there's, what I mean? Maybe there's other actors, bad actors that were involved in this whole thing. I don't know. But there are a lot of questionable things that are going on here that just don't make no sense. And one thing that really drives me nuts, and I said it in the other video, when I was reviewing this video without Candace, just the Brian Harple part. I said, why didn't he circle back? Now that I'm understanding that the text message correspondence that he just showed was not between the head of security and the chief of police of that area. It was somebody else. I think she said the last name was Flood, who was having that correspondence with the chief of police. So if you got that and you send that text message to me and I'm responsible for everybody and I'm the head of security, I'm instantly responding back being like, hey, well, first off, I'm going to be like, can you ask him to clarify what he means by he got me covered? What does that mean exactly? Does that mean he's going to have somebody at the door? Does it mean he's going to have somebody on the roof? Does it mean that they're going to go and comb the area beforehand and do a tight security check and do tight security at these particular buildings so that nobody has access to the roofs? I'm actually asking those questions because at the end of the day, that's my mother-loving job on the line. And also, let's not forget too, that's my life on the line too. Not only just Charlie Kirk's, let's be real. You know, what if the guy turned the weapon over and started just blasting other people? It's my life. It's all these other people's lives. It's everybody's lives, right? So he's like, so that's what it said. So, you know, it would be nice if you went and made sure that that area is secure, because we understand that there's access to the roof. And it says right here, we got you covered. So I don't know what I was supposed to do after that. Wait a second. You could have sent a text message back saying, what does that mean exactly? You got us covered. You mean you're going to have people there? Can I have a breakdown of what's your detail? How many people are going to have on that day? Is it 6? Is it 12? Is it 24? Can you let me know how many they are? Just so I can be ready and prepared? See, this is the same thing I said on the other show too, or on the video. This is the same problem with the Thomas Crooks situation, which is a conversation we have not had recently, but there's new information about Thomas Crooks too, which is knuckin' futs. We're going to have to talk about that another time. But remember, there was a problem between Secret Service and the other agencies that were there. There was state, there was local PD, state PD, there was SS, Secret Service. There was all these freaking entities and all these acronyms and all these agencies all in one space. And they weren't even corresponding with each other, which would have made the situation even better if all agencies were talking to each other. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. And it looks like that's the situation that happened with this situation too. That you had two different entities that were not working in tandem together. That is a huge problem in my personal opinion. And that makes me nervous as all get out. The likes of somebody like Candace Owens, the likes of anybody that is, a big prominent name, a big prominent voice out here, man, now I'd be micromanaging my team and that security team. I'd be like, I want everybody in the same room with me right now. Sorry, can you come in here? Everybody, even local PD, everybody in the same room. Are we all on the same walkie-talkie, channels? Are we all corresponding with each other? Who's got what? I'm not playing. This is my neck on the line. We got you covered. That's it. I'm sorry. Instantly, I'm like, I get it. This guy, he has to, he's got things he's got to take care of. He's got his team to work for and worry about. But his team and that other team are all there for one specific reason. It's to protect the civilians that are there to watch the event and protect their VIP, the speaker, the person that's there, the Charlie Kirks or the Candace Owens or the Tim Pools or the Kyle Kaprinskis. You know what I mean? They're supposed to be working together. There isn't a firewall between those two agencies. They should be talking to each other. Period. So him just sitting there and going, well, that's all I could have done. I don't know what else I could have done. There's so much he could have done. But at the same time, and that's the one thing that's frustrating about that interview. With all due respect, no diss to Sean Ryan, but it feels like he didn't even push back even. Like, did anybody try to text, back to the chief just to ask him specifics, anything like that? I mean, that's a question I would ask. And you can still ask it with respect. Like, hey, respectfully, I'm just going to ask this because I know a lot of people are going to want to know. Did you correspond? Did you hit him back? Did you call him up? Did you even send him an email, a text message, whatever? Back, asking him, hey, what do you mean exactly by that? With all due respect, right? But he didn't do that. And now we're in this situation, right? I think I'm not sitting here turning to head of security and saying it's all his fault. I think there are a multitude of different things working all at the same time, making this situation really, really bad, right? But here's the thing. One small mistake can destroy it all. It's like that butterfly effect, right? One small thing. Somebody, it's like you go to the past, you step on a twig, next to humans are now, half dinosaur. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that. It's just one small thing that caused a chain reaction to this tragedy. It's like Final Destination, but in real life. Just one small mistake of not having that correspondence started this, yes, classic one, this ripple effect of one thing after another, leading to losing the life of Charlie Kirk. But let's continue on.
And I can also tell you that this is a severe misrepresentation, because the reason why he says Sorensen, and obviously many people picked up on this, like Lozzie is supposedly where the student got up on the roof. So why would Sorensen even matter? Well, apparently, and again, I confirmed this with security inside of Turning Point, there somehow happened to be a leak. And so they can't dispute this. But actually, Dan Flood was primarily and only concerned with the flag of halls, which is behind, that's what was behind Charlie. So I'm going to actually show you this, what they're referring to and why he says Sorensen. I don't know if your mouse can move here. I don't know if you're able to do that. It's okay if you can't. But you can see we're up there on the right where it says Sorensen Student Center. Well, there is a way, as you can see, to get down and get across to the walkway. And that's what they wanted to secure. They wanted to secure and to make sure that nobody had access above Charlie's head. And that's why he says the walkway. He knew that, by the way. Obviously, he knew the context of that. It's very strange that he's reading that off of his phone as if it's on his phone and he had the communication. That's fundamentally dishonest. He should have said, this text message happened between Dan Flood and Jeff Long, and here's what it was pertaining to, or he should have showed more, but he couldn't show more. And, Sean Ryan got played. He did. And he should be upset that he got played, because they're basically using him to just propagandize the situation and pretend that they're somehow the victims. Something else that is very strange that I was told early on when all of these leaks were coming is that not only did Turning Point not walk the campus when they got there, I'm referring to the security, but also the only thing that Dan Flood apparently cared about was making sure that their SUVs had clear access behind Charlie, in and out access. So they were not concerned about any other rooftops. They were not concerned about walking to make sure that they had access to other rooftops, obviously, or to make sure that they could see what points it was that the people could just walk onto the courtyard. They weren't concerned with any of that. All they cared about, for whatever reason, was the flag of halls, controlled access in the flag of halls. And I'm wondering if that reason is because, this is really interesting, but I told you, it's kind of strange that there were only 2 videos of people really that saw the alleged shooter on the roof that sprinted off of Losi. I found that to be quite strange. There were a lot of people there that day, a lot of action that was caught. There wasn't even any more testimonies that came out. And when we hunted down the origin of those videos, I found it strange that those students who shot it didn't post it themselves. They went through third-party people, fourth-party people. One person, both of them, jumped through multiple hoops to get that video out. And when we tracked those people down, both of those students or non-students were in the military, right? ROTC. I found that to be very interesting and compelling. And I am wanting to know more about what was happening in that Hall of Flags. Something is off here. There seemed to be a lot of buzz about the Hall of Flags. Even that Indian kid that we had showed you was taking that shot, who said like, oh, I didn't know Charlie, but he was really popular, was posting all of these videos and somehow gave his videos to the news. He was in the Flag of Halls, or the Hall of Flags, pardon me. I think more needs to be known about what was going down in the Hall of Flags, and I intend to find out what that was.
Now, I think of course, a lot of us are wanting to know what was going on here. Like what actually, it's hard to find a photo where she's just chill. Okay. I think a lot of us are wanting to know what actually happened here. And I think it is interesting that this guy, the head of security, is using this opportunity. Let's be real. He's using this opportunity to, this is almost like his opportunity to like say his side and try to make himself look like he is the good guy and that he's not the one who messed up. It's outside sources and not his team that made any mistakes. Now, I can understand his motivations. I could definitely understand his motivations, but let's be real. His motivations may not be 110% genuine. They may be him just trying to save face because he's got a company to, he has a company to abide by. He has mouths to feed. And it's not only just him. He's got other men. He even said it in the interview. He's like, I got other men. He's like, I got men whose careers are on the line right now. So you really think he's going to go on to an interview with Sean Ryan or anybody and actually say, oh yeah, we messed up. But like I said, in the interview, it's not like you see Sean Ryan really push a lot back. He doesn't really push back. I agree with that part. I definitely agree on that part. In the interview, you can see for yourself. It's just like, almost like a therapy session. It feels like, And yes, it's an opportunity for him, for Brian Harple, to get his word out, to get what he thinks out. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, you don't hear him really taking any kind of responsibility for the mistakes that were made on his side. Because there were mistakes made on his side. Also, local PD made mistakes as well. TPUSA made mistakes as well. They should have had other choices. They should have made choices. UVU made mistakes here as well. Okay? So again, very interesting interview, but does it really get us walking away from it going, yeah, what he did was right. He did the right thing. He's a good guy and everything's misunderstood. This is all one misunderstanding. Nope. No. I hate to say it like that, guys, but I didn't walk away from that interview feeling like everything was, was pristine. I didn't walk away from that interview being like, okay, I could see that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's outside sources. It's not their fault. They didn't know wrong. It's everybody else, not them. Sorry, but no. But we got to get into this next conversation. Okay, guys, like I said, it's not going to be a super long show, but I do think that this is very interesting. And we haven't talked any true crime stuff in a while. Now, I know I just did a video about David and Celeste. Okay, go check it out. It's very interesting revelations that came out yesterday. So I did a little catch up on that today. Wild stuff. And it goes with my theory. Let me just say that. It goes exactly with my theory. And I'm a mother-loving genius. Yeah. I'm a genius. That's just number one. I want to say that. But number two, okay, I do want to share this with y'all because I didn't get a chance to share with y'all. Do I have it here? Hold on. Where is it? Hold on. Sorry, 1 second, guys. There it is. Y'all. Okay. Now, I got to share with y'all because, just saying, because, it's funny. Okay. So, I did a little skit, okay, a little bit ago, and a little bit earlier today. And so I want to share with y'all because I didn't, I just want to split up some of the gloom and doom a little bit today. Okay. But I did a skit today. And it all has to do with the whole Epstein, thing about Trump, doing the sloppy to a guy named Bubba. Okay. So I'm just going to share with y'all because it's dumb, but it's fun. It's nothing serious. Let's just have some fun. Take a look. Okay, there's been a lot of crazy drama and rumors circulating since this whole files have been put out, right? And of course, now we're understanding that his brother has come out and said that Bubba is not the Bubba that we think it is. But there's also speculation and rumors that Ghislaine had a horse named Bubba too. So this is some crazy stuff. But honestly, I can't stop thinking about the actual person who actually had to take the photo. Did you ever think about that? What was his situation like? Holiday parties are the best. 1990s ain't got nothing on the future. I tell you what. Wait, what? What do you want me to do with this? Wait, what's going on? Oh, my damn. Wait, am I supposed to be taking a photo? Where did everybody go? Wait, seriously, Bubba, Donnie, are you serious? Donnie, look at me. Donnie, blink twice if you're uncomfortable with this. No, you're cool with this? You want me to take? Okay, then. Everybody say Donica Trumpinski. Wait, what? You're not comfortable? You want me? You know what? Let me sing to you. I got you. Ease the tension. Here we go. All right. Use a ho, ho, ho. Who would have known? Ho, ho, ho. Who would have known? Up at the White House, Donnie, this is sick. Under the desk to suck biz. Wait, what? Who brought the horse in here? Ghislaine, come on, man. His name is Bubba too? Word. Yeah. So that is out there. It's on the channel. Okay. Just a little quick chuckle. It's just jokes. It's just jokes, guys. Nothing serious. I know some people would take, oh my God, I'm so offended. Clutch my pearls. How dare you? How dare you say what you said here? Oh my God. It's a joke. Okay. I mean, there's worse jokes out there. Trust me. But if it made you laugh, share it, hype it up. I think that's the whole thing now. I think YouTube is all about hyping up videos. So hype it up if you can. You know what I mean? Share if you can. That'd be greatly, greatly appreciated and all that. Okay. But now into the conversation that we need to have. All right. So as you guys may know, we're jumping into the true crime realm really quick. We're wearing our true crime hat for a second. Okay. Now here's the thing. If you don't know about the Melodee Buzzard situation, it's a very wild, wild case. All right. But now we're finding out that one, Melodee Buzzard's mom was arrested, right? She was detained on charges for false imprisonment. Now we're hearing that those charges have been, they've actually been dropped. Why? That's one thing that we all want to know, right? It sounds like the information that the witness, the victim, claimed, like when they were doing their, retelling of the story, apparently police felt like it was falling short of anything about that would remotely get her charged with false imprisonment. So that has now been dropped. But apparently she's going to be back in court tomorrow to talk about more for other reasons or for the same reasons. And we'll find out what's going on with that. But one thing is for sure. Aside from the false imprisonment charges, she has not been charged with anything. She has not been brought in or detained or arrested in any way, shape, or form for her connection to the missing case of her daughter, Melodee Buzzard. Melodee Buzzard is still missing right now, okay? And now we're hearing new information from the likes of Ashley Banfield, where she's saying that that Ashley Buzzard has been caught out here in these streets cutting out Melodee's face out of missing person posters. That's insane, guys. Let's take a listen to this.
Here, though, I don't know if you have an ex in your life who you're not very fond of, or maybe you have an old friend who crossed you in a way that you never thought possible. But there's a time-honored tradition of cutting their faces out of your favorite photos to help heal the wounds faster. And for some folks, that works. But leave it to Ashley Buzzard in Lompoc, California, to take that coping strategy and twist it into knots. Ashley is the mother of Melodee Buzzard, age 9, whose whereabouts and welfare have been a mystery for 41 days now. In that time, her mother, Ashley, has stonewalled the police, had her home and her rental car and her storage unit raided by the feds, and has been charged with falsely imprisoning an acquaintance who tried to help search for Melodee. And I have an update on that case in just a minute. You won't believe how she showed up for court this morning. I'm going to give you all of those details. You saw a snippet. I'll give you the rest. But I'll bet that you remember seeing the videos that we showed you a few weeks ago, bewildering video of Ashley ripping down her daughter's missing persons posters in the front yard. Remember those? Those were staked out in the front of her house. She's ripping them down for reasons that nobody can fathom until possibly now. A private investigator hired by Melodee's aunt just dropped a bombshell. He says a person who was inside Ashley's home saw her cutting Melodee's face out of those posters. You heard me right. What normal folks do to people they consider dead to them, Ashley did to her own missing and endangered child. So does Ashley Buzzard consider Melodee dead to her? Does she consider or know the child to be dead, period? The private investigator says not necessarily, and that is the weird and spooky part of this.
Now, let me just say this really quick. Does this remind you a little bit of Emmanuel Haro? Remember, we heard stories, information about the police would go into those homes, into the home of Rebecca and Jake the fake Haro's home, finding that every photo of that even depicted Emmanuel was gone, that baby clothes were discarded down the street in a dumpster. All those things were connected, right? All those things were full on hints that something sinister happened to that baby boy. Why would the likes of Melodee's mother go out of her way to take down these missing posters, and then also get caught by friends cutting out pictures, cutting out her face out of these pictures? Again, some ain't right. We already know that Emmanuel Haro is no longer with us. This could very well be the same situation here. It just doesn't seem right. Something just ain't right, but let's continue.
Our Brian Enton has been on the streets of Lompoc, California, and spoke exclusively with that private investigator. And here's what he told Brian.
So the posters had photographs of Melodee. They didn't take up the entire poster, but they were snapshots that were projected onto the posters. So I understand that she had cut these photographs off of the poster.
So she cut Melodee out of the missing poster?
Out of several of the missing posters.
And why would she do that?
Not sure, but what she did with them is she placed them on a table in her home. To me, it represents an altar. Not saying that she's deceased, but it's something that she can have some memory of.
I don't know about you guys, but when I don't know anybody who's just doing an altar, you know, like it almost sounds like a shrine, okay, of somebody who is still alive, unless it's just a sick obsession. I guess it's just from movies I've seen, but at the same time, usually a shrine like that is like because somebody's no longer there. But again, I'm not trying to think the worst. But at the same time, she has not come up. She has not turned up anywhere, right? But let's continue.
And that's what I picked up from that.
You're going to hear more from that private investigator in just a moment. He was hired by the sister of Melodee's late father. But first, Ashley had quite a court appearance this morning. And it's a good thing that we had cameras there because you wouldn't have believed it. It was very, very brief, but she appeared on that false imprisonment charge that she was slapped with 2 weeks ago. Her long and curly wig was back, but this time pulled into that ponytail. And also this time, Ashley Buzzard came to court dolled up to the nines in full makeup. And when I say full, I mean brimming over. She had a ton of makeup on her face. I can't explain it because last time she had none. She was unrecognizable. Our Brian Enton was able to catch up with her as she left the courthouse. Here's the longer clip of what you just saw a snip of.
Ashley, can you tell us where Melodee is? Why aren't you saying anything to law enforcement, Ashley? Why have you just stayed quiet when your daughter's missing? It doesn't make any sense. Why did you cut her pictures out on the posters? Everyone just wants to know where Melodee is. Everybody just wants to know.
You guys back up away from the car, please.
Crazy.
Ashley Buzzard's charge stemmed from an accusation that she threatened a friend of hers with a box cutter after she allegedly told him about Melodee's whereabouts and presumably regretted doing so. They are both set to be in court tomorrow for a preliminary hearing. So yeah, we're going to be there. And in the meantime, Brian Enton is live outside of Ashley's house with all of his new reporting. First of all, Brian, great work in posing those questions to her, because you might be the very first person who has done so that at least we have been able to hear. Whether police have been stonewalled by her, it's all under wraps. But that was just amazing to see her doing the same thing to us that presumably she's been doing to the police. Let me ask you about the house tonight. Any action, any sign of her?
Yeah, and by the way, you heard the clanking in that video when I was asking her questions. Those were her little high heel boots. She was really dolled up today. Like you said, very different than what we've seen her in the...
She looked like she was rocking stage makeup, y'all. That's what it looked like. It was very, you know, she had like painted on eyebrows and like she looked like she had stage makeup on, y'all. That was a little crazy. All right. But you know, maybe that's how she usually dresses. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Past, and she had the wig on before, but it was sort of pulled back. We're outside her house tonight in Lompoc. Very, very dark. The signs are still out here. She's left these signs out front. Where's Melodee? We won't stop looking for her. So show us where she is. This apparently was up on this stick here, but it's been pushed down. We'll get a little closer to the house, though. It's dark. She's inside tonight, Ashley. There was a FedEx delivery
Careful now, Brian.
hours ago, and she came out and got the box, but she went back in. There's the light on outside, but it's totally pitch black inside. There have been no lights coming in from any of the windows, and she hasn't come out, and she still hasn't spoken to anyone, Ashley.
I am getting Brian Laundrie vibes here. I remember when you were
Absolutely.
out in front of the Laundrie's home in Florida when Gabby Petito was missing. And it was the same thing. Dark windows, no activity, signs outside, and a lot of protesters. That was one thing that was very different. But I am curious, when you saw her, I know it was all very fast and you were busy interviewing. Did you happen to notice whether she still had her ankle monitor on her leg? Because the other day when she was moving boxes, it was hard to tell, but we thought maybe it wasn't there.
It's a good question, and it was hard to tell. I didn't see it, although what she was wearing and these kind of boots, like heeled boots, I think it could have been covered. I didn't notice it. But it was a quick hearing, and it was interesting too. She kind of had an entourage today, actually. Last time we saw her, she was by herself, and she doesn't have a car. I mean, there's no car in the garage. She doesn't have a car, so she Ubers or she ride shares to these court hearings. So last time she showed up and she walked in alone. This time, I guess they were sort of prepared. She had a couple of police officers surrounding her. Her lawyer, her public defender, was also with her, walking with her when she went in. She was only in for maybe 5-10 minutes. It was a quick hearing. Tomorrow is really going to be the main hearing. And then she walked out. She went back to that ride share, came right back to the house, and she hasn't been out since.
So tell me about the actual court appearance itself. I know it was really brief, but tell me all the color from inside that proceeding.
Yeah, it was brief. They didn't allow video cameras this time, but the judge did allow still cameras, which is why you can see these still images, these photographs from inside of her. Again, she showed no emotion. She didn't speak once. We never heard her voice, not even once. And she just went in. She was with her lawyer. They were basically confirming that this preliminary hearing is going to happen tomorrow. And she looked at the judge, but really kind of stone cold, no emotion at all, really dolled up. I mean, really heavy on the blush. Ashley, you could see just her cheeks were really, really red. She had a lot of makeup on, which we haven't seen before. And I think it was the same wig. She just sort of had it styled differently and pulled back. And so she didn't say a word. She was in very quick. She
Night and day, everybody. Night and day. Night and day, loves. Night and day. Oh my God. That is a dramatic. That is dramatic. That is dramatic. Now, from my understanding, this photo, the photo on the right, is not like how she usually looks. This is a photo of her just coming out of jail. Okay? Because like even her wig ain't sitting right. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Just so you know. Pick your afro daddy, cause it's flat on one side. Let's move on.
left, and the only time I noticed any kind of like feeling from her is when I first said her name when she came out. I said Ashley, and she looked over and we made eye contact just for a second, but then she just looked forward and went to the car.
So I'm going to ask you this next question, but I'm going to ask our control room to put that comparative photo of her in the court appearance last week and the court appearance this morning in full screen. I want to just be, I want the audience to be able to just see the stark difference between her court appearance. Now, granted, I will say this. On the right, she had been in jail. They arrested her at her home, and they brought her to the police station and processed her, and they locked her up in county for, I believe it was like 5 or 6 days at least. I think she was pulled in on a Friday or so, and she came out midweek. And so this would have been her on the right after several days in jail where they don't, have an ample supply of makeup or hair products. But that's a wig on the right, and it does look like it's the same wig on the left, Brian, but the amount of makeup that she has on makes her indeed just an entirely different person. And I put that on the screen, not for the prurience of looking at it. I put it on the screen for those who feel they may have seen that woman on the left somewhere in that cross-country trip that she made with Melodee, from which she returned without Melodee. Or have they seen the woman on the right? Have you seen either of these women? They're the same woman, but she has, obviously, she's a chameleon. It's just incredible to see that. And I want you to tell me, Brian, a little bit more about this private investigator who has inside knowledge of what was going on inside her home, snipping the faces of Melodee off of those missing posters. Walk me through that.
Yeah, this is really disturbing. This private investigator, his name is Bill Garcia. He has a long history, decades of work looking for missing children and a lot of success. And the paternal side, Melodee's, father's family, the aunt, actually recruited this man, Bill Garcia, to come in and help with the case. He spent a lot of time, by the way, Ashley, out here surveilling the house, watching her movements, trying to talk to her. But he got information from someone who was inside the house, who he says told him that the missing Melodee posters were inside this house behind me, and that she had cut the faces and the border around Melodee's face out of the posters. So they were just like the shell of Melodee's face in the posters, and that she had moved those pictures over to another area where, as he described it, it almost seemed like a shrine, which he found to be very, very disturbing. He also, by the way, went on the road trip that Melodee went on. He retraced her steps. He went to Utah.
That's crazy.
Where there have been these reports that that Ashley may have given Melodee to someone in Utah. And I asked him whether he really believes that story. Listen to what Bill Garcia told me, Ashley.
My personal belief after doing this over 30 years, I don't believe it. I don't believe she left Melodee. I think it's kind of a smokescreen to throw people off. I don't see her leaving her out anywhere with anyone, or leaving her out in the brush or in the woods. I see her bringing her all the way home if something happened to her. I think regardless if something happened, she would have brought her at least close to home.
So you think she could be that close to home?
I do. I absolutely do. I think Ashley has done this before, and whether she was a courier for drugs or any other kind of item.
When you say done this before, what do you mean?
She's made these trips before. I'm certain of it.
You mean this strange trip to
the cross-country trips? I believe she's made the trips before, and I understand that she regularly would get a rental car, and we don't know where she went.
That's a good, interesting theories. Okay. An interesting revelation. Like she may have done these kind of trips before. Is it moving substances around? Is it not? That's a good question. It does make you want to go back to, and see if they have any records of any other cars that she may have rented. They all have LoJack, or trackers on them. Maybe there's something that they could find, depending on how recent, aside from the one where she didn't come back with Melodee, it does make you wonder if something, something else happened here, and if she's done this before, and maybe something bad happened on the trip where she lost Melodee because of a bad deal or something like that. Maybe that's just so strange.
So Ashley, he says he discovered that she has rented the car before, and he is very, very confident that she has made that trip before on that route. And he believes that Melodee is not in Utah. He believes that Melodee is back in the Lompoc area. He actually wants to do searches in this area. It's been very heavy rain here for the last several days. It's nice tonight, but he wants to get out here and search. He believes Melodee's closer to home.
But I hope he means alive. Does he mean alive, closer to home?
Look, he's careful when he talks about that. He wants to be hopeful, but he also has plans to search in wooded areas, and there's lakes around here, those kinds of things. So he's not entirely hopeful, Ashley.
Talk to me, Brian, about the tips that apparently that PI says he's been getting from truckers.
Yeah. So you talk about hopeful. I mean, tips have been coming into him from people who believe they may have seen Melodee alive. Among them are truckers, because that's a popular trucker route coming in from places like Nebraska, even from Iowa. He just got a tip this morning. Listen to what he told me about that.
And he says, I can't get that little girl out of my mind. I keep seeing her in the early morning of Friday, just 4 days ago, at this distribution facility with a truck driver.
Where?
In Lansing, Michigan. And she had that same gray looking hoodie. And he said, I saw her face, and her face looked like Melodee.
So he's got tips coming in, Ashley. He has been referring those to the FBI, who we know are investigating. And again, he was sitting out here for so long doing surveillance. It's just so bizarre. It's so quiet. It's so dark. I just want to show you again. I mean, there's posters that line the front sidewalk here with pictures of Melodee, a nicer photo than a photo from the surveillance at the rental car place. Where is Melodee? A poster here. There's candles over here that the neighbors left, and little stuffed animals. I mean, it is such an awful vibe out here. And the fact that she just stays inside with all the lights off, it's got everybody in the neighborhood really upset.
Yeah, and clearly these don't seem to be posters that the mother is putting out in front asking for help finding the child. It is the neighborhood putting those posters up saying, just like the laundries, where, is Gabby? I remember the posters and the people demanding the laundries speak, and they just wouldn't. 10 seconds left here, Brian, tomorrow. What can we expect in court? I think we're hearing that the alleged victim, Tyler Brewer, the one who was allegedly held with a box cutter and not allowed to leave that house behind you. Is that what we're expecting to see tomorrow?
Yes, quickly, tomorrow is going to be a big day. The preliminary hearing, we expect that victim may testify. Will something come up about Melodee? We don't know, but she's going to have to be there again tomorrow. So she's going to have to Uber there in the morning, probably put on all that makeup and the wig on again, and we'll see what tomorrow brings bright and early.
I mean, it's just confounding, the everything about this woman and her behavior. Brian, excellent.
Again, I think this is going to be very interesting because, again, it's speculating, or it's the speculation, or the rumor is that the person that was held against his will when she had a box cutter against him or something like that, that's what he was claiming, that allegedly she may have revealed some information about the whereabouts of Melodee, and then she freaked out. That's why she pulled out the box cutter and was like, I'll cut you, kind of thing. And then that's why she was arrested in the first place. I'm waiting to see if there's any truth to that, because the charges were dropped allegedly. So I'm wondering what tomorrow's going to be all about, but we'll see how that all goes down. But again, where is Melodee at the end of the day? Where the heck did she go? Did she go on a trip? Is she back in her hometown? Is she back in Lompoc, or is she somewhere else? That's something I think we all want to know, right? So hopefully we'll find out some more information here. But let me get some of your super chats here really quick, okay? Again, guys, don't forget to hit the like button down below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, please and thank you. Okay, we cover a lot of things on this channel. We talk about a lot of things that are going on in the world. So make sure you're subscribed, okay? Ride, what's up? Thank you so much for the love. Bondi got picked last in gym class, and it shows. Damn truth. Truth upon truth upon truth. I could not agree more. Tipsy, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. Oh my gosh, the way he lies and tantrums, it's crazy. Yes, Trump continues to lose his mind. But here's the thing. We had Biden he was losing his mind too, okay? Slowly slipping into senility, okay? Just slowly going senile, right? And again, I'm not like, I won't be surprised if they just let Trump ride out the rest of his 4 years, the rest of this term as is, because that's exactly what they did with Biden. You know what I'm saying? I hope that's not the case. He's not as bad as Biden, but yeah, he's crazy. We can all agree on that. But Biden was in bad shape. All right. But they did not allow him to get on Twitter or, X or Truth Social and start just spouting out crazy stuff, sharing things that aren't true, sharing rumors, sharing things from parody accounts that aren't even real, and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? That's what Trump is doing. That's what we're seeing in real time, guys. Unfortunately, we are. But he's not super far gone, but he is crazy. We can all agree on that. General Genobi, what's up? Thank you so much for the love. Thank you. Thank you, Pascal, for what you do. You got me through government shutdown, and it was hard as a Fed worker and veteran. Well, thank you so much for holding it down. Seriously. And for all y'all for holding it down. Because right now, for those who are waiting for the SNAP benefits, it's over. SNAP is done. SNAP is completely dismantled. So whoever got hooked up with their SNAP recently, it looks like that's going to be the last time you get that hookup, y'all. They're dismantling that entirely. It looks like that's what it's crazy. So hold tight, everybody. Seriously. When I questioned my service, you helped me. Your words always got me through. Thank you. Sometimes and voice if sense breaks through. Sometimes in voice if sense breaks through. Well, I don't understand that last sentence, but I do appreciate your support and thank you so much. Thank you. I'm glad that the government shutdown is over. For all you federal workers are able to go back to work. I'm very happy about that. Or, to work with pay. Okay, how's that? All right. The other thing is, though, I am worried about us as a country for those who are out here that are not going to have a Thanksgiving this coming Thursday. Because there's going to be a lot of people that still don't have a means for a decent Thanksgiving this year. Because of no SNAP benefits or, there's been layoffs going on around this time as well. It's been absolutely crazy. So, yeah, it's very interesting. Actually, Classic, they're saying that it's gone. Like it's about to be completely gone. Not revamped, but like dismantled. Hold on. I don't know if I have enough time to find it right now, but I will make sure I find it and I will bring it up in the next live. But someone just correct this. Hold on. Where did it go? Okay. Okay. Somebody said something. I just saw in the corner of my eye something about my voice of sense. My voice of sense breaks through. I think that's what Genobi meant. Hopefully I have that right. But thank you so much. Because I overheard Tim Pool talk about it. I'm not kidding. He's like, it looks like SNAP is going to be completely dismantled. But he is pro get rid of SNAP. I'm not. Clearly, I'm not. Okay. But I heard about that. So I'm interested to see what happens because again, right now, as much as say that they're revamping it, let's just say they're revamping it right now. Let's say they're revamping the common sense and voice of reason. Thank you. Voice of sense or voice of common sense. Thank you so much, Genobi. I appreciate that. Thank you. But let's just say that they are dismantled, like they're restructuring. Right now, people are not getting their SNAP benefits. The people that were able to get their SNAP benefits ahead of time, like the very few that got it, they're lucky. But now, remember, they're going to be doing this whole, you got to jump through the hoops all over again, reapply, see if you even can get the SNAP benefits under the Trump administration. That's what's happening now. So, but there is conversations about it being gone, right? So Let me see something here really quick. So it says with the full November amounts being issued after the government shutdown ended. Okay, so states are distributing full benefits according to their regular schedule, and recipients, I'm sorry, okay, can expect to receive them, though some may have partial payments first. So there are people in my neck of the woods and in my state that I've heard have not received anything yet. So if they have received anything, that would be news. That would be news to me, right? Now, this is the other thing though, too. They're about to restructure a whole bunch of things, and they're going to have everybody jump through that hoops. If you're using SNAP benefits, you're going to have to jump through those hoops to get those benefits again. So we'll see what's going on. See, like Stargazing just said, hold on, let me get that before it disappears. You just got half of yours yesterday. Stargazing just said that. I just got half of mine yesterday. See what I'm saying? So not everybody's gotten theirs, y'all. It's a slow trickle. It's slowly coming out. And sometimes, just like Stargazing, you're not even getting the full thing, right? It's partial, or you might get lucky and get the full thing. But again, there is talks of it actually getting shut down. But again, I'd like to see the information as well. I hope that's not entirely true, but we'll find out, right? Janobi, thank you so much for being a member for the past 3 months. I appreciate it. Appreciate you. Thank you. Okay. Again, thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate you. Thank you. Corey, what's up, man? Thank you so much for the love. Hey, Pascal, have you heard about the missing girl from South Florida? Yes, I have. You're talking about Anna Kepner. Yes, I have. I'm most likely going to be covering that first thing tomorrow morning. That's my plan. Tonight was just to do, some coverage on the things that I didn't get a chance to do yesterday. But that is a conversation I'm going to be having tomorrow for sure. I have been covering it on Facebook. So I've been giving you guys all updates and articles and all that stuff all on my Facebook page. So make sure you're following the Pascal Show Facebook page, okay? Because there's a lot of things that I'm talking about that I'm writing out in posts on Facebook that I don't have time to do videos on all the time, okay? So I highly recommend you guys go over there and follow the Pascal Show Facebook page, okay? I'm giving you guys a lot of information over there, okay? And yeah, like I said, there's a lot of states that are not getting full. People are either not getting their funds yet, or they have not, or they're only getting partial funds with the SNAP. So, and it's insane because now we are on the 20th of November. And there are people out here that I even know myself, okay, that are hoping and praying for SNAP benefits to show up, that are not going to be able, if it doesn't show up within the next tomorrow or by Monday, they're not going to be able to have a Thanksgiving, guys. That's a lot of people out there. It's crazy. Mississippi Girl, thank you so much for the love. I don't care what BS Bondi releases. I can't believe any of it. It will probably be fake news. If she was going to release real documents, she would have done so when the Three Stooges held up Volume 1. You are not wrong with that at all. You are 110% Mississippi Girl, 110% correct. They were hiding stuff then. They were hiding stuff again, saying that there's nothing to see and there's no list. And then now when it's like time to get the stuff out, she's like, I'm going to abide by the law. I'm going to do everything that the law says. We'll see about that. I don't believe her as far as I can throw her. And honestly, she's really tiny. I could throw her pretty far. Okay? So I don't trust her a lot. Just saying. I don't trust her at all. But anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in and being part of the show today. Be sure to tune in tomorrow morning. We'll be back on to talk about all this stuff and then some. There's a lot to talk about, okay? And if there's any breaking news going on government-wise or any of that stuff, we'll be talking about it. So please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. Hit that follow button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. Okay? Crush it. Crush that subscribe button here. Go over to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips and Pascal Raw. Subscribe over there as well. That'd be greatly appreciated. Okay? Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys. Anyway, it's time to get going. Much love to you guys. I'll be talking to you guys soon. Have a great night. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.